Hello everyone, welcome back. What we're going to do today, let's go for a little drive through the town of Loyall. Many of you probably haven't been down here for a while, so I figured I'd just drive through the town, just do a little quick drive, consider it a Sunday drive on whatever day I put this video up, and we'll just see what the town looks like. So stick with us, come with us, let's take a little trip down the road. So we've got the main road 413 here, and in my last video of a drive-through, we done a drive-through Harlan, and I'll link it up here in the top. Some of the complaint was I was going a little too fast, so I'll try to slow this down a little bit for you. Looks like Johnny Adams is getting some paving done in his driveway. There was the old Loyall City Hall on the left, still the home of the fire department. And then I'm sure you can see on the right, down this whole stretch, is the CSX train yard here in Loyall. I'll try to be as thorough as I can with these streets and see what we can see. We'll turn on to Wilkerson Street. First Baptist Church there on the left. Here's the new bridge that replaced the old concrete bridge. I wish I had a wider angle lens to show you all this a little better. We're going to take a right here onto Cedar Street. You guys still look crooked on the camera. See if that's better for you. The reason I wanted to drive through Loyall, besides just getting out of the house for a few minutes and taking a drive, I grew up here in Loyall, and what I remember Loyall being 30 years ago, probably now, it's not the same Loyall that I grew up in. And if there's been a lot of you that's not been here for a pretty good while, you'll see what I'm talking about. And while I'm thinking about it, any of you from here, post your stories. If we pass your old house or something, let us know. I know there on the left, you can see that house on the left, that blue house, that was Coach Lovely's house. I remember this little fence right here, my 8th grade year, me and Mom were walking through town and getting some exercise, and he come out and was trying to make sure I was going to play football out at Kaywood. And I think it's one of the first times I ever met Charlie. But it was definitely worth going out and playing. I don't regret it for a minute. But like I was saying, any of you from down here, when we pass your house, leave a comment down there in the bottom. Let us know that's where I lived and how you remember it looking, and just give us some of your memories down there. Now, we're going to kind of mix this up a little bit. That's the end of Chad. We'll turn left onto Maypother Street. And we won't hit all the little side alleys. There's one that cuts up there to the right. And we won't hit them. And we'll try not to keep y'all for a 45-minute video just to drive through Loyall, because it's not that big of a town. But I know you can see off there in the distance coming up old Loyall. Well, it was Loyall High School. It's Loyall Elementary School. I can remember when they were building this church here on the left. This used to be the playground for the school and where the band room and all that stuff was. So I'm sure many of you that went here remember playing on this playground. I remember when they were building this church, they were putting up the roof joist, and we had to come down here on the ambulance because something had happened and a bunch of those trusses had collapsed and hurt a guy. But you've got the school there. It's a flea market now, and there's some pretty good vendors in there. You've got City Hall is here now. The police department's office and stuff is here now. So they've utilized the building. And this old building, let me see if I can find the plaque. I don't remember where it was. I can't remember when the building was built. I'll link down here in the comments about when the building was built. But went there from kindergarten through 8th grade myself, and loved every minute of it. It was a great little school to be. Troy Gall was the principal. He started my kindergarten year, and I know went well past my 8th grade year, but we were the first full class that he had as the principal at the school. And we'll turn back on to Chad. That was all of Maypother. Turn back on to Chad. We'll take a right onto Bailey Street now. So you've got, here on the left is the back side of Loyall Funeral Home. To the right, we'll kind of drive where you can see it. I hate not having that wide angle lens for you, but there's the post office for Loyall, 40854. So we'll take a little detour to the parking lot. 1939, I can see the date on the school over there now. And that's the Loyall Church of God in front of us. This is the church that my family had went to for years. My great-grandparents, starting with them, and my grandfather, John, and Ida Mae, his wife, my granny. That's where Mom and my sisters still go. So that's kind of our family church. Coming up here on the left, I'll give him a shout out. My buddy Brian Hale. That's his truck there, and I was hoping he must be at work. He's got an old Dodge pickup for y'all that like that truck video I got. He's got an old Dodge pickup that could probably beat a whole bunch of those old Fords and Chevrolets that you all keep commenting about. He's done a good job on it and got it back on the road, and it's his daily driver. I love that thing. Now coming up here on the right, it's my great aunt's house. Ann No, she was a teacher down at Loyall. And my great grandparents' house, which is also where I lived for a little while, this little white one here. And you can see the flood wall, or where they done the flood construction there in front of us, put the levee up. I know down in here there's a lot that's changed too. That was Clarence Longworth's house in front of us. Clarence had Longworth's body shop and stuff there on 840 at Lawnvale. I'm sure y'all remember Longworth's years ago. That dude's Halloween decorations had a big skull, about scared the crap out of me. I thought somebody was standing there coming to get me. Yeah, Lord, I'm paying more attention to the filming than I am my surroundings, I guess, and it scared the crap out of me. So besides some of the little side streets, you know, that's your main views through New Loyall. This is considered New Loyall. This was a new addition. I've got the history on that. I'm going to probably do something bigger on the city of Loyall later on. But we'll see how this little drive through the town works. While we're down this way, let's head up to Park Hill, because anybody that lived in Loyall for any amount of time back in the, well, I know for sure the 80s when I was living here, this was a special place up here because this is where the city pool was. Off there in the distance, you go on around the little curve there over top of the hill, and that's where Rio Vista is. That's actually not in the city of Loyall, so this is kind of the limits of the city here. But we're going to turn up Park Hill, that's what they call this, and head out to where the old Loyall pool was. It was great fun. It seemed like a task climbing this hill when we walked over here as kids. It would still be pretty bad now. As fat as I am, as out of shape as I am. But a lot of us would walk up here. It was the big thing when I was younger to even be allowed to walk up here on my own. But a lot of people that lived over in New Loyall, would walk up here because it was less of a distance for them. And it was a great place. They had the pool up here. You had a gymnastics building up here that you'll see here in a second. Also a little baseball field, and that's where we done our t-ball stuff back when we were all little. Everybody come up here for the t-ball. That was before Huff Park was as big as it is now and stuff. And I got lucky as a kid because Dad was a city council member down here, and there were a lot of events and things that we got to go do at the pool, and kind of had our own private pool, us and some of the other kids of the city workers and the council members and things. And looking at it now, she is definitely not what she used to be. Ooh, look at that. There's more stuff growing in the pool than there are in my yard right now. And all the fencing's down. I've not been up here in a while. You had the building here was where the gymnastics were. And then out here where this big pile of rock and stuff is now was where the t-ball field was. So all of you my age or so, and I'm sure ages around, remember all of this, and tell me your stories on this. I remember Howard Heaton T-Balls, who I played for. Pretty views you could see back there in the back, but this old pool, I think 16, a bunch of us when we were 16, because that was old enough, we come and took lifeguard classes and worked up here. And I was not as attractive as my friends, we'll say. I didn't look as good in a bathing suit, so I was kind of put on the backup list. And that actually, another buddy called me one day and said, do you need a job? Because, I was kind of on the alternate list, so I wasn't making any money, even though I was a lifeguard. And I said, well, yeah. He said, well, we need another lifeguard at the country club. So I got to go to the country club and be a lifeguard, which was a way better cake job than this one. So while everybody down here had to deal with all the people, I got to sit up at the country club and just sit and look at the water and read a book. So it worked out in the end. But that was Park Hill, and that was a happening place when I was a kid and even a teenager. The pool, I think, had some cracks. It's an in-ground concrete pool. It had some cracks, and just the city didn't have the money to upkeep it. It takes a lot of money to upkeep a pool, with the pumps, having to upgrade them and all the piping. And I don't remember what year that thing was put in, but it eventually, the maintenance costs got so bad on it that they just had to abandon it. So, you see it sitting there like it is with stuff growing in it. It's kind of sad, but I can understand it costs a lot to keep something like that running. And here in the past year or two, it would have definitely sunk it if it was barely holding on then with all the COVID stuff. So like everything else, forward progress means losing childhood memories, I think, a lot of times. But some of it can't be helped, you know. What are you going to do? Okay, that was our little detour at Park Eagle. Now let's head back down Wilkerson Street, or 413. This is still labeled, no, I'm sorry, this is labeled 840. Once you get the red light there, that's where 840 and 413 come together. So this is Highway 840. There's the Loyall Church of Christ. I always thought that was a pretty building, just that lighter brick and stuff. And I just noticed this camera shaking, guys. I'm trying to keep it as still as I can, but this mount, it's a new mount system for my camera, and got little bugs in it, looks like. We'll get it lined out. J&R Printing on the right. It's been there for years and years. Loyall Funeral Home on the left, you've seen. And there is the Quick Mart. Now this little building here on the right, you can see, it's been a laundromat. It used to be a movie theater. Let's see if I can find the picture and show you of what that intersection looked like, and I'll post it up here at the top. But you come down, and now we're going to turn on to a very familiar street to me, Cedar Street. Cedar Street was where I grew up, and to get down to this end of the street was a major accomplishment for me when I was a kid. Because if you can see way off in the distance, I lived at the other end of Cedar Street. So when I finally got old enough for me and my buddy Eric to ride our bicycles down here to go fishing underneath the bridge back there, we thought we had made it, buddy. We thought we were something to be able to be allowed and trusted to come that far as a kid. This house right here, you can see the couple of little bricks and stuff sticking up. I'll tell you a funny story. When I was little, I don't know how old I was, probably 3, 4, 5, something like that. I don't remember now. Mom was out cutting the grass, Dad was at work at the mines, and my cousin was babysitting me. And I kept going to the refrigerator and getting packs or, slices of bologna. And I kept asking my cousin every time, can I have another piece of bologna? And then I think she finally got tired of me asking, so she said, we don't have any more. So I decided that I was going to go to Papaw's store, which was, Papaw was manager at Max there in Baxter. I was going to go to Papaw's store, and Papaw would get me some more bologna. So I got out on my tricycle, and I rode my tricycle. I didn't go across the swinging bridge, luckily. That would have went out to 840 in the main road. That would have been the quickest route. But Mom's out there cutting grass, so to keep from getting caught, I come up Cedar Street here, and I made it all the way to that house before a woman that lived there come out and stopped me and was asking me about, who I was, where I was going. And I could see down here Mom pulling out because she'd realized I was gone. I got in all kinds of trouble for that. But at that young, I knew the route to get to Papaw's store. So I was heading on my tricycle to go all the way to Baxter, to Max, and get me some bologna. Ooh, Dad was not happy when he got home either. This would have been the street I grew up on. And right here in front of us, it would have dead ended and went to the swinging bridge. And probably right where that light pole is, straight in front of us, kind of up behind that van, is where my house was. So you can see the flood wall took all this, and that was that. But I mean, I did enjoy this. This was such an awesome little place to grow up. It was quiet down here. It's a dead end street, and my best friend, I'll show you where he lived right here before we get done with this. But it was a major accomplishment to be able to go past the fire hydrant right there. That was my limit as a kid. I couldn't go past that fire hydrant. And then finally, when me and Eric started hanging out, Eric Blevins, y'all probably know Clara and Randy, his parents. They lived right here on the left. And I'll see if I can angle this thing. This empty lot here on the left is where they lived. And the house burnt. I can't remember how long ago it was. But I have a whole lot of childhood memories there. Me and Eric were thick as thieves, and we hung out together every single day. And I mean, once I got past probably 9 or 10 years old, I don't have a memory of a childhood without Eric involved somehow. And I just wanted to turn down this little back lane because, we hung out back here. There were houses all here on the right before the flood wall stuff come through. But you've got here where this big thing of kudzu is on the left. That was their backyard. So we played on the street back here, and I could spend all day giving you memories of our adventures. This street actually here was another dead end, went down to the edge of the river, and that's where we would go down hanging on the riverbank and stuff. So a lot of this has changed down here, and I've probably spent too much time down here for you all, but I wanted to share those memories. So anyway, this was a drive through Loyall. We'll cut, and I'm going to take you all over through Black Bottom so you can see Black Bottom too. It's not, I guess it's technically part of the city of Loyall. But instead of having to drive through the same thing again, we'll pick up there where Wilkerson Street intersects and go from there. Okay, back down to the 413 Wilkerson Street intersection. Well, we're going to head to what's called Black Bottom. I've not researched enough on the history of this, but it seems like some of the town had already started being getting built. Good grief, can't talk. I think this was originally known as Sean Siding, is what Loyall was originally called. And down there where I lived and stuff, I just showed you that was considered Old Loyall. So that was the original part of Loyall. That's why City Hall was built over there and things. But it's almost like the town started getting built and naming streets before the train yard come through. So, and I'll show you why I'm saying this when I tell you some of the streets over here. But this is considered Black Bottom. I'm sure it was named Black Bottom because it was right there beside the tracks, and all the coal that come in and out of this yard, everything was black over there. Or that your bottom would get black if you sat down on anything over there. There's probably a better description, but that's just my guess. Oh, and by the way, I told you to comment down at the bottom, which I want you to. Train scared the crap out of me because it's sitting there on the track waiting to come into the yard. Subscribe if you've not subscribed. If you enjoy this or my other videos, hit the subscribe button down there. Now, it don't cost you anything to subscribe. You just click on that subscribe button. If you don't have a YouTube account, it's free to make one. But you click down there at the bottom, hit subscribe. That lets you know all my videos when they get put up. And like I said, it don't cost you a dime to do. And it really helps me out. When you watch the videos, when you comment on the videos, when you like them, all that stuff really helps me out to grow, and also helps me know what kind of stuff you like and don't like. So with that said, this is Black Bottom. You can see this little road is just right beside the tracks. And with this train sitting here, we're not going to be able to get a good view of the yard. There's nowhere here in the summertime to get a good view of the yard because of all the trees. But this little strip of road for Loyall is considered Main Street. Go figure. So you've got Main Street here, which is not over where anybody really travels a whole lot. Just the people that live over here is about the only ones that come. This is one of the reasons I think that some of this started getting built before. But you got Main Street here, and I think right up here on the left is Central Street, and it's a couple of 100 yards of a street is all it is here. Yeah, right there, Central Street. And it just goes up the hill a little ways and dead ends. I mean, I don't know what this place looked like before the train yard, honestly. But this is Main Street of Loyall, and it took me a while, even working on the ambulance, to figure out where Central Street and Main Street is when they say Loyall. Because, I mean, I'd lived in Loyall all my life and never realized that was what these two streets were called. Now, while we've been doing this 5-hour-long video, and I apologize if it's too long for you guys, but I'm trying to drive a little slower and give you a better look at a lot of this stuff. We're going to go out this dead end because there's one house out here that I absolutely love. And I hope I don't get shot for getting out in somebody's way or somebody's property here, but I want to show you this old house because I love it. And I don't know when it was built, but this house is gorgeous. It's like a hidden gem. You know, it needs some renovation and stuff like that, I'm not going to lie, but it's just amazing this house was built out here. There's something about it I like. So this was considered Black Bottom Road back years ago before they put the flood wall through. So you could drive out this and come out back at my house. But now, you know, it's cut off, so you can't do that anymore. Where's that house? Where's that house? This one here on the right. It's just like an old farmhouse or something. And I don't know. I'll turn you where you can see that one a little bit better. It's just this old house, man, and there's just something about it I like a lot. You can tell it's got, I mean, it would take tons of money, yeah, but it's got tons of potential too. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous old house. You know, guys, I've not been out here in forever. I don't know how far I can go. Let's see how far we can go. I think I see how far we can go. Yep, we have made it to the end, boys and girls. Like I said, this would have went on down to my house. This was Black Bottom Road. But with the flood wall stuff getting put through at the train yard, you see how tight this road was. There just wasn't enough room to put the abutments and everything in, so they had to cut the road in half. All right, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna take you to one more place before we end the video, just to get a look at it. We can cut straight up to the airport here, so I'll give you a look at the airport. So let's cut up the road, and I'll cut back in and let you see just coming up to the airport. All right, we've come straight up the hill to Airport Road. Take a left. There's not a whole lot you're going to see because I'm sure the gate is closed and everything. I mean, we can't drive out onto even though it's a little rural airport, it's still an airport. So, but this place has expanded tremendously since I was a kid. You know, the original road used to go straight up right here and didn't do this curve. They've extended the runway out. They've done a lot of work to it and just constant improvements. There's more hangars and stuff than there used to be and everything. The freaky thing with this airport, and I'll see if I can do this quickly. Elevation 1,564 feet. You can see right out there, that's the end of the runway. that's also the end of a mountain. So when you take off from Harlan Airport, and that's usually the route you take off, that direction, if you ain't got it up in the air by the time you get to the end, it's going to be in the air. It's a straight drop off at the end, and it's kind of surreal. You don't climb. You come off the runway and you're in the air. So I always thought that was kind of unnerving in a way, especially when you come into land too. You're just landing at the straight cliff. So any of you that's ever flew in or out of the airport will know what I'm talking about, but it's pretty funny. Okay, I've kept you long enough. Let's end this. And there you have it. There's our little Sunday drive. We'll say Sunday, even though I don't know what day this is going to go up. I know it went long. I hope y'all enjoyed the stories and stuff. I just felt like getting out for a drive, and I wanted to bring you all along with me. Any of you that lived in Loyall and stuff, I hope that you enjoyed getting to see the town again. And really share your memories down at the bottom. I shared some of mine. I've got tons of them. Lived down there till we were 16 when the flood wall stuff came through and took the house. But my childhood was spent in Loyall, and I love every minute of it, from being at the school to growing up down there on the end of Cedar Street. Eric, my best friend Eric, he's out in Idaho now. He joined the Air Force. Got a great family. Love his wife too. She's a great person. They've got great kids. Eric's done well too, but he could still call me at the drop of a hat, and I'd be there for him, because he was my best friend. He was my brother. He wasn't just a friend. He was my brother, and he still is, even though we rarely get to talk. But anyway, thanks for coming with me, guys. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Leave your comments and stuff down at the bottom. Like I said, let me know your experience, because I want to hear them. And we've got a good community there, and a lot of good people that used to live down there and still do live there. Let's just all share our stories. But until next time, love one another as the good Lord tells you. We'll see you guys on the next video.